It's home to 850,000 Syrian refugees, the largest number in a non-neighboring country. So we can see the scale of the problem. Let's discuss it further now with Filippo Dionigi, who is a senior lecturer of international relations at the University of Bristol, joins us from Bristol in the United Kingdom. I'm wondering, has a repatriation on this scale ever happened before anywhere in the world, and just how can it be managed?
Haven't been precedents of a mass repatriation that is of the same magnitude of the one that we could expect with regard to the Syrian crisis in particular. So the logistics of this are extremely complex. It will take time, of course. This cannot be rushed. The return of refugees is a right of refugees, but it's a right that is based on three very important principles. First of all, it has to be voluntary. Second of all, it has to be secure, it has to be safe. And thirdly, it has to be dignified, right? So only when these three principles are respected, then the right of refugees to return to their homes can be effectively implemented. And that will make the process complex and long-term.
Indeed, but how do you manage that long process, and who needs to oversee the whole thing?
Yeah, it's a complex matter, and there will be a need for coordination between international organizations, between whatever government form of governance develops within Syria itself, and also the countries that are now hosting refugee populations like the one you mentioned, neighboring Syria, but also elsewhere in the rest of the world. And that kind of coordination will be difficult. One first step that can happen, especially with regard to countries that are neighboring Syria, such as Lebanon, Turkey, Jordan, Iraq, is that Syrians can be and should be allowed to go back to Syria to at least make some preliminary visits to assess the degree of safety, the availability of shelter and housing for them, and also the possibility of assessing the economic viability of their return to Syria. If that happens, at least that will allow Syrians themselves, which should be obviously the first concerned individuals to make the decision to return or not, of course, that will allow them to make an assessment and therefore progressively make decisions that may lead to their return.
Right, because what they go back to is fundamental, isn't it? Be it jobs, work, or even housing. And the houses that they might have left some years ago, are they still there? Is somebody else living in them? Everything.
Yeah, let me just mention, in July 2024, a few months ago, Syria was a completely different place from now, but there was a major survey that was carried out on Syrian intentions to return. And it was done in three stages. The first question was whether Syrians would like to return within the next 12 months. And the answer was a clear no from the greatest majority, from 97% of them. Then there was a broader question whether one day Syrians would like to go back to Syria. And a resounding 57% of them claimed that yes, their hope is that they will be able to go back to Syria, meaning that a large part of the population already in a situation in which Bashar al-Assad was still in power, were still hoping to go back. That means that now, considering the development that are taking place in Syria, probably that level, that percentage has gone even higher. But again, that poses challenges. When Syrians were asked about the factors that have hindered their possibility to go back, their first concern was actually livelihood, and then the second was security, and the third is housing, and then we have also economic viability, access to services. Only when that infrastructure is in place, only when there will be a degree of security that Syrians can actually accept, then at that point a voluntary return process may actually take place. But these are all things that will take time to develop properly for that to happen.
Indeed, a colossal challenge. Filippo Dionigi from Bristol, thank you very much indeed.